process, we've heard about the values, but we're looking at integration and in terms of movement. So in terms of NCAD, in terms of eco-design, mainstream eco-design, Ellen, what would you like to add?
Okay. NCAD is a stakeholder and is part of the community, and it should be indicative of change, influence, embedding eco-boosting into the social context and community. This foci of art and design practitioners, educators, needs to engage with the issues more than mere partisan projects, e.g. by constructing systems for easier recycling and conserving of materials at ground level. NCAD should be an entity to drive forward holistic thinking, values and activities.
Thank you, Helen. So far we've covered quite a lot, but it's still quite aspirational. So I'd like to ask Christina, in terms of moving on to another level, how can we mainstream eco-design, focusing on what we've learned so far?
Well, we're proposing creating a holistic urban village design guideline. So as a tangible item, this guideline would have text, graphics, a checklist, be a design tool. It puts eco-design in the mainstream by expanding the normal urban design streetscape focus of a community template to include a wider range of issues. So we see these issues would break into different themes following the principles of sustainable design. So there would be environmental, social and economic strands to this. The guidelines would aim to achieve an eco-boost to the area. We see them being informed and developed by collaboration of local residents, local authority, multidisciplinary design team, and also all stakeholders in the area. So the guidelines look to achieve holistic design for the private domain as well as the public realm, and looking at being sensitive to the particular area we're in, but also these guidelines will be a template that may be used elsewhere. And there's also legibility, so any environmentally sensitive elements, whether they're solar powered lights or recycling bins, they're legible in the landscape. And then we hope to start off with the Thomas Street Urban Village as a scenario we could start.
Thank you, Christina. So we're starting to get a bit more tangible in terms of moving the concept of eco-design into mainstream. So, James, I'd like to ask you the same questions. When would you like to take it?
Well, our group agreed that any initiative needs an opportunity of space. And we also identified that in this neighborhood, in this space locally here, that the top floors and rooftops in this area are underutilized, underdeveloped, and it might be an opportunity of space for this initiative to be hosted. And so we kind of asked the question, is it possible the stakeholders might consider a focus on utilizing and developing the space up above, if we could, top floors, rooftop areas, and maybe some initiatives there related to green roofs, water issues, food development, alternative product, and having involvement by students and the college, the community up there. So again, it comes back to if that could be operationalized at this level, could it then filter down to the streetscape?
Thank you, James. So, Sean, in terms of the questions that we're asking, and then we've covered quite a few issues so far, in terms of the process, in terms of the values, in terms of how we can do it within NCAD, how we can look in terms of the street, how can we bring that together? So in terms of mainstream design, how can we bring all this sort of discussion together?
Well, what we would propose is the Liberties Design Parliament, and it would basically be a forum within which two things can happen. Firstly, it would be an important forum for discussion, for negotiation of values between stakeholders who might often have competing values, competing interests, and that stakeholders would range across us as educationalists, and importantly the challenges that can be posed to what we offer as a design education. The Dublin City Council, who are engaged with the college and engaged with the area and are a governance body, so you can have policy and legislator at this table, and also then businesses and communities. So various clusters of local businesses, and then the various kind of formations of local communities, whether they are newly arrived or people who've been here for quite some time, and the various formations. So one of the key functions of the design parliament would be that it is a forum for negotiation of complex values and competing interests. More practically, in a sense, it is can also be an organ for initiating projects. So some of what we've heard were kind of concrete ideas, and the Liberties Design Parliament can be an organ of intervention, kind of a means to set up our projects, carry them through, and be a focus point for people to come to with ideas.
Thank you, Sian. Just to summarise what we've tried to to challenge, that we set out to meet, and where we are at the moment, I guess we're somewhere in terms of working on the bridge and development. What we feel is we've met the challenge in quite an interesting way. Yes, it's still quite aspirational, but they're also quite concrete projects. And if we go back to what we started from yesterday, in terms of leadership, in terms of the role of the designer, in terms of eco-design being mainstream, we feel quite positive about the process that we're proposing, and we feel that this can be taken forward now, immediately, in this ARE, and there's no reason why it can't start. The challenge now is to turn what we've put together here as a team into a process of opportunity for the region. So, thank you.